Okay, so what if I told you that I once again discovered something out of YouTube because algorithm? Yeah, that's exactly what happened again with Hiroshima in Silence We Yearn. It's yet another album that just YouTube sort of threw at me, and I was like, sure, I'll do it. And as a whole, I gotta say, I again expected one of those perhaps post rock, post metal type albums, and I wasn't actually very far off, as this album actually has a lot of like rock tendencies to it, and even some metal tendencies to it, right? And it's definitely sort of proggy on that regard, especially like you look at 6 songs, 38 minutes. Oh boy, definitely there's gonna be like a lot of, I guess, progginess shenanigans here, and yeah, but not really. So when I came into this album, I sort of thought that it was just going to be another like instrumental. Okay, whatever, it's fine, no big deal. And it kind of was, but it definitely was much more like paying attention to sort of a narrative. Something that I've criticized some of the other prog metal albums, those post metal prog metal albums that YouTube recommended me, was as good as they sounded, it didn't feel like they had like a story to them. Like it didn't feel like they had a narrative, that they went anywhere, that they like did a lot with their sound. The same cannot be said about this album. Like, this album does that in spades. This album, I think, it reminded me a lot of another album I've covered called Panopticon by ISIS, which it's sort of like, maybe not entirely, but it definitely has sort of the same narrative style and the way that you use the sound and everything. It's definitely very distinct as a sound. Something that I actually found really cool is this album is sort of a little bit of a fusion at points. So while they definitely have a couple of songs that use that post-metal style of prog metal, at the same time you do have sections that are more like indie, like there's like literally like just indie, that sort of not hard hitting drums, just very soft drums, just sort of a single guitar, and even like the mix sounds like an indie sort of band. And there's also singing, right? So there's moments like that, and then there's moments where especially the bass and guitar are sort of, or rather the bass is I think it's the bass that it's sort of like it has some distortion to it, which is why actually it reminded me a lot of Panopticon, because that album has a lot of like distorted instruments on purpose. Why, and they're just contrasted with like sort of clean guitars, clean rhythm guitars and everything, and very clean sounds, right? Which creates like this very unique sound as a whole. So I think this band actually does and this album especially does a very good job at sort of just drawing you into an environment, and then making sure that like you sort of, understand the vibe of it, right? The emotion of it. This is definitely not one of those where it's like, oh, like I guess it's, good to have in the background, but you're not gonna really pay much attention to it. Oh, you will pay much attention to it. You will pay much attention to it. Like, it's a very good experience, and I just like I don't know, like, it's so weird because technically speaking, on a sound perspective, it shouldn't feel that different, or it shouldn't sound that different from a lot of the other post-rock stuff that I've reviewed and heard on the channel, but it does. It does sound like unique. There's like a unique tone to it, right? And the singing, look, the singing doesn't happen in every song. It happens in some, and even in the last song especially, the singing does like feel a little bit sort of even in the mix, kind of on purpose, just to have sort of the voice be another instrument that goes along with the melody, as opposed of being the focal thing, like a lot of bands do. So I'm not against it, honestly. I think it's a really nice touch on the songs, and parts of the songs definitely do have singing. But yeah, the rest of the song is just very, I don't know, it's sort of this weird mix of like, you have a lot of rock, you have a lot of indie, like you have sort of post-rock with indie, right? And then you have like a lot of toned down moments as well, where sort of you have that, distorted bass, sort of low quality sound bass type thing, right? And sometimes you just have that and the drums, and like the songs really like slow down and just have that sort of little bit of focus on it. Again, sort of like how the Panopticon had, right? So I think that even though those two albums don't necessarily sound super similar, I think that they approach the composition perhaps in a little bit of a similar way, where you sort of have more moments that are like more up there, more heated, everything is sort of going together, and then sort of you slow the song down and you strip the song out of certain instruments, sort of let everything rest and let everything sort of stew, and then you slowly build them up again, right? Sort of that type of composition where you sort of, it's a sort of a push and pull, right? You slowly build something, you reach the climax, and then you pull away, and then you slowly build it up, right? And then you pull away, sort of that type of composition. So yeah, I mean, again, this is another album that I thought it was going to be just another, post rock, post metal type, prog album, and like I've been getting a little bit tired of those, but then I was like, oh, actually, this is really good. So yeah, in terms of my vibe meter, I would say, like, I don't even know. I mean, I kind of want, like, you know what? I'm feeling a 9 out of 10, so I'm gonna go with a 9 out of 10, right? In any case, in the future, I can always like come back and make one of those videos where I sort of go over the scores and whatnot, and sort of re-review the scores, I guess. But yeah, for now, 9 out of 10. I think it's pretty good, and I'll see you tomorrow with a new album.